People often ask, what is the ultimate outcome of all the efforts that you make? Suppose you become an entrepreneur, what is the ultimate outcome? The ultimate outcome is in manifold. First is value addition. As an entrepreneur, you create better value for the society. The beneficiary are the customers, those who buy your products or services. They are able to get benefits and that's why they make the payments to you. The second beneficiaries are the stakeholders, all those people who are in some way connected to you and your business. For example, your suppliers, the entire value chain. So, you are creating more value to your products, you are able to help others in creating value addition, you are able to help the society through your value addition activities. So, whatever initiatives you take, whatever activities you take, has a positive impact on the society and the nation. The entrepreneurs earn many things. One is obviously profit, another is goodwill, and another is market valuation. These three things go together. The profit is the difference between your revenues and your expenditure. Your revenue is more, your expenditure is less in a year, and the resultant is your profit. That is, the revenues which are more than your expenditure. So profits, you have a choice. You can put some profits back in the business. That is what we call as retained earning, and you can withdraw some of this profit for yourself, or some of these profits you can distribute to the other shareholders if you have. That is called their share in the profit or dividend or whatever the term as per the applicability. Now, how do you distribute the profit? That depends upon your business model. Suppose you are following, you have established a cooperative society, so the profits are equally distributed among all the members. Suppose you have established partnership, then the profit would be distributed in the share of the capital that the partners have invested, or as per the agreed principles. Suppose you have established a company, then the dividend will be distributed as approved in the company's EGM, annual general meeting, and this dividend will be based on the number of shares held by a person. So if somebody is having more equity investment, he would be able to get more, and if someone has invested less, he would be getting less dividend. The goodwill is in the form of the market appreciation for what you are doing. If you are doing something right, if you are doing something good, your behavior is trustworthy, the brand value keeps on increasing, and that's why you have a goodwill. Take for example Tata Group. The Tata Group in India is considered a very, very trustworthy group, and that's why you find a very high goodwill valuation for a group like Tata Group. So this is another thing. And the third is market valuation. Market valuation is applicable in case of generally public limited companies, but it is possible in other companies also. In case of public limited companies, the market prices of the total shares of the company is called market value, and that keeps fluctuating. If the market prices in the share market are falling, your market value will also fall down. You may be doing very good work still, or you may be doing bad, but because market prices are rising and therefore your market value may go up. So it depends. Market value also depends upon some incidents, some news. For example, recently the Reliance Group has tied up with Facebook Group, and Facebook has decided to invest about 10% in Jio. Now this news has resulted in increase in market valuation of Reliance company. So the news information can also have a positive or negative impact on market valuation. I would like to also add one more dimension, that is your contribution to the sustainability. Right? There are two types of entrepreneurs. One who contribute positively towards sustainable development, towards sustainability, and one who contribute negatively. Right? So these are the two types of entrepreneurs. In the years to come, the society will have to reward those who contribute positively towards sustainability, and the society will also have to put some penalties and negative charges, discouragement for those who are causing harm to the environment and causing loss to the planet directly or indirectly, and therefore they are hampering the move towards sustainability. Let us understand sustainable development goals. These are very important goals to be achieved by every country by year 2030. Now these goals are very fundamental goals. There are 17 goals. You can search on Google and find out all these goals. What they are talking about, these goals talk about like it is our duty to end poverty. It is our duty to spread education. It is our duty to provide, to ensure gender equality. It is our duty to ensure that we have a spread of democratic institutions. It is our duty to protect oceans, to protect forests, to protect wildlife, to protect the life on the land, to ensure we have sustainable and good cities. It is our duty that we have to ensure equitable development, egalitarian society, and to ensure that there is decent work for everybody. Everybody is able to earn something, and it is our duty to ensure that the industries innovate and introduce green technologies. And there are initiatives to ensure that there is justice, there is equality, there are good institutions to ensure that everybody gets right to express, everybody gets an opportunity to grow, everybody gets healthcare facility. These are fundamental rights, you can say. And these are the goals that are there before every country. Now governments alone cannot achieve these goals. We have to work with the government, we have to help the government in achieving these goals, and that is the call of today's time. So there are two types of entrepreneurs, some who are giving positive contribution towards sustainability. For example, you can see there are many companies which are engaged in development of green technologies, renewable technologies, solar energies. They are contributing to the goal of energy, sustainable development through energy. So they must be rewarded, they must be recognized, they must be appreciated. You can find there are some entrepreneurs whose activities or whose actions are causing loss to the environment. Now there are plenty of such organizations. They are casual, they are not taking keen interest, they are not thinking about what will happen tomorrow. For example, you may find many hotels which may be casually using water in swimming pools and other things without recycling the water. They are not taking care that water will be a scarce commodity. It is one of the important goals in sustainable development goals to conserve our resources and particularly water. Now there are villages which do not have drinking water facility. There are cities like Johannesburg or Chennai in India which are facing shortage of drinking water. Now in this crisis period, if some hotels are wasting water, maybe they are earning profits, maybe they are earning good market valuation, maybe their goodwill is growing because their activities are good, but so far as sustainability is concerned, their net impact on the environment, their net impact on our society is negative. So they must be given some punishment or some punitive measures must be taken against them. There may be in the years to come some kind of taxes like carbon credit or some kind of taxes or some kind of punitive measures on these companies which are causing harm to the environment. While those companies which are manufacturing environment friendly products, which are engaged in such activities which help the environment, those companies which contribute to sustainable development must get some positive rankings, must get some positive rewards, encouragement, and customers should also prefer their products because they are contributing to the environment. Because otherwise it will be very difficult for our world to survive, because the climate change is a huge crisis and the impact will be unimaginable, because in the years to come will be facing severe crisis in the form of climate change crisis. So these are the things which play an important role, and these are the things which are the basis or tools for measuring the company, the impact of a company. And another important thing is your credit worthiness. As an entrepreneur, you have to make timely payment of all your loans, all EMIs. When you go to take loan from banks or financial institutions, they'll ask you to provide your credit worthiness. They will be looking at your CIBIL score, they'll be looking at your credit ranking. Now, while CIBIL score is calculated or credit ranking is calculated, the credit rating may be conducted by independent organizations like CRISIL, CARE, or other such organizations. At that time, it is taken into account as to what extent you are timely in your payments. If you are delaying your payments, your CIBIL score will be reduced, your credit rating will be downgraded, you will face difficulties in raising new loans, right? You must have seen that many companies today are willing to become debt-free company. Take for example Infosys, it is a debt-free company. Look into the statement of Reliance Managing Director Mukesh Ambani, who says in next 1 or 2 years he will convert Reliance into a debt-free company. Why? Because they want to ensure that their company gets highest credit rating, their company gets highest appraisals, their CIBIL scores are highest, their company's credit worthiness is considered highest. This will have many indirect benefits. Their cost of capital will reduce. Whenever they will go to the market to borrow, the rate of interest will be lowest. Their loan to these companies will be considered at par with loans to other public sector organizations, right? So keeping your debt at minimum while at the same time ensuring timely payment of all your loans, all EMIs, all dues is very, very important. The financial literacy is very important for everybody, and particularly for somebody who wants to become an entrepreneur or who is on the journey to entrepreneurship. This financial literacy includes you should have basic understanding about what is credit rating, how is CIBIL calculated, how is credit rating undertaken, how and what kind of investment options are there, how should you invest, and how should you safeguard yourself, risk management, minimizing the risks, ensuring that whatever money you have, you invest them properly, carefully. So these are very important not only for an entrepreneur, but these are important for everybody. Financial literacy must be there, must be taught to everybody, because in a good society, people not only know how to earn, they know how to spend. And only if people carefully spend their money, save and invest properly, then only they can become wealthy, and then only the society can become wealthy. Otherwise, what will happen? You can earn a lot, but if you don't know how to spend, how to save, how to invest, you will waste away your money. And what will the result? You'll end up as pauper. So, earning alone is not the goal. The goal is to create a happy and wealthy society. Now, that will be possible if you know how to invest your resources very carefully, properly, and purposefully.